Hey, what's up everyone? Nick here, and this is it. We are now at the end of my Deadly Obsession walkthrough for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So we left off back at the Hidden City. We are in this cave. There's a bonfire or a campfire or a base camp or whatever you want to call it. The point is, we're almost done with this. So go ahead and make any upgrades you want. I would imagine that by this point in the game, you've made kind of the crucial upgrades. So what I'm actually going to recommend here is focusing on your weapon upgrades, particularly the assault rifle. The assault rifle is going to be your best friend during the final boss fight of the game. That's not to say that, you want to ignore your other weapons. The shotgun and the pistol, as you're going to see, those do come in handy. But the assault rifle is my primary weapon of choice, and so I'm going to recommend that you try to upgrade it as much as possible. And you have two of them, so you can pick whichever one you want. I'm going to pick the one that we got later in the game because I already have full damage on that. But anyway, guys, once you're done at the base camp, you're going to go up to Etzli, and the game is going to tell you that this is the point of no return. Essentially what that means is once you choose to talk to Etzli, you're going to proceed towards the end of the game. There's no more fast travel, there's no more free roaming. Not that that really matters, because at this point, that is our objective, to beat the game. But the point is, if for whatever reason you wanted to run around and try to find another weapon or look for more ammo, or, if you wanted to do anything outside of the main objective, now would be your time to do it, because once you talk to Etzli, we'll be on our way. And yeah, I gotta say, this has been a pretty fun walkthrough. I'm not the biggest fan of this game, but I did have fun with it. It's definitely a good game, but at the same time, I'm happy to bring you this finale.
How is the plan coming together, Etzli?
We have options. Uchu?
Kukulkan's army will follow the Sakbe to the Great Stone Bridge to reach the pyramid. If we approach them head-on, we have the best chance to intercept them, but we could easily be overwhelmed.
If we go in this way, it'd be more secure. But our timing would have to be perfect, or they'd slip through our fingers.
Can we do both? If we approach head-on, I can go around the other way and act as a sniper.
They'd be trapped.
No approach is without risk, but I believe this is the best option.
Good. Then, on your order.
Gather the troops. Let's go. This is where we part. Your path lies that way. Lara, I want you to have this. For luck.
Etzli, I can't.
After today, the eclipse will no longer represent us. We keep the sun, but you remove the shadow.
Thank you. Be careful, Jonah.
You too, little bird.
Alright, so we're going to start off pretty easy. We're just going to be swimming. That's all you're going to do here, so really no need to worry. So let me go ahead and kind of recap what's going to be in this video. You'll notice this video is, I can't see the final time of it right now, but I think it came out to somewhere like 34, 35, 36 minutes, somewhere around there. But you're actually going to see that the game ends at 25 minutes. That is when I beat the boss, at the 25-minute mark. And the last 10 minutes is basically all the closing cutscene. So if you're not following along with the story, then this video for you is going to end at 25 minutes. However, if you've been following along with this walkthrough, even if you don't care about the story, I recommend you either watch to the end or skip to the end, because once I beat the game, you're going to see the trophy unlock. It's called Deadly Obsession, and it's the trophy that you get, obviously, for beating the difficulty. And I always like to include the trophy popping in my videos because it kind of provides that full definitive proof that I did play the game on the hardest difficulty, because as you know, this is the internet and a lot of things can be faked, and I always try to make my walkthroughs as honest as possible, and I always try to I take what I do very seriously, but nevertheless there's always people that say, oh, there's no way that was on the hardest difficulty, you must be lying for views. And so I always try to provide as much evidence as I can. So if you're following along with this series, I recommend you just watch it to the end. You'll see the trophy pop, and then in the last minute or so I'll do my sign off. But in terms of gameplay, what we're going to be doing here is, so now we're going to gain control of Lara, and we're going to be making our way through the city of the Serpent. And for the time being, basically all we're going to do is some more climbing. More climbing, more jumping, more of all that fun stuff. If you happen to die, it's not the end of the world, because, the base camp isn't that far behind. But then later on, so we're going to come to a familiar character, there's going to be another cutscene, and then we're going to have another section of what you see here, but this time we're going to have 2 very small combat encounters, and they are very simple. You shouldn't have to worry about them, and I'll talk about this more when we get to them, but when you do those 2 combat encounters, I highly recommend you use your pistol, or use your arrows if you want to, but the main thing is just do not use your assault rifle, because you're going to want to have as much assault rifle ammo as you can when you go to fight Dr. Dominguez, and that is going to make up the last part of the gameplay, is the final boss fight against Dr. Dominguez, or I guess you could also say that it's against Kukulkan, who is the god that essentially, if you're following along with the story, that's the god that takes over Dr. Dominguez's body. I won't dwell on those facts, but the point is we are going to have the final boss fight, and I highly recommend you save as much assault rifle ammo as possible for that fight. But anyway, slide down here, and that's going to trigger a cutscene with a very familiar character.
When the crimson fire smokes, seek your mirror. Was this Unuratu's destiny? You're the Crimson Fire. I think we're supposed to work together to defeat Kukulkan. You shall.
And this part right here, guys, even though it's short, this is actually maybe my favorite part of the game. As you know from earlier in the walkthrough, I really like these creatures. They're called the Yakshil. I really like them. I think their design is perfect. I think they're the perfect mixture of creepy yet fascinating. And now we have the opportunity that Lara claimed herself to be Itchil. We have this opportunity to walk through them, and it's amazing. Alright guys, so once you gain control of Lara, you're basically going to follow the leader of the Yakshil, the Crimson Fire. You're going to follow her along this path. Again, just more climbing, nothing you're not used to. However, I am going to note that there is one particular area where the game gets really buggy, and it's very, very easy to die, and it's 100% not your fault. During both of my practice playthroughs of this section, I died both times at this same point, and I did nothing wrong at all, and I still died. Now, fortunately, I think I figured out what you need to do to not die the first time, because the really weird thing about this part, which we're coming to, the really weird thing is that in both of my practice playthroughs, I died the first time and then lived the second time, even though I did nothing differently. So watch what I do right here. This is the point that I'm talking about. You're going to swing your grapple, and you're going to land on a rock wall, and a helicopter is going to start shooting at you. Go as low as you can. So watch this. I land, and I'm going to go down. Okay, I go down and to the right. And it's really odd, but by going down, for some reason, doing that, the helicopter didn't hit me. Now, I know, as you watch me do this, you're going to say, oh, that's easy, just move. Like, as long as you're moving, the helicopter won't hit you. But no, as I said, that particular section, for some reason, it's just really buggy. And during both of my practice playthroughs, I grappled, I landed on the rock wall, and I started to climb to the right. And both times, the helicopter hit me, and I died instantly. And it was just, it wasn't very well explained what it was that caused me to die. So yeah, but in this playthrough on Deadly Obsession, that's when I changed my strategy, and I said, oh, I think the reason the helicopter's hitting me is because I'm a bit too high on the wall. And so that's why here I changed it, I went lower, and as you can see, it worked. So I'm not going to say that that's a 100% foolproof strategy, because the section is buggy, but I think it should help you.
Thank you, Kukulkan, for this gift of renewal. We are prepared to receive your power. They're with you? This ritual is mine to complete! They've chosen wrong. It's all wrong!
No! It was always theirs. Give us the box.
No. Never. I must protect Paititi.
We all create destiny. Not just you. All of us. Together.
Strong to the end. Attack!
Alright guys, so this is the first of 2 combat encounters that I was telling you about, and again, notice I'm following my advice. I'm going to only use the pistol here, and then eventually I will run out of pistol ammo, and I'm going to try to use my bow, but eventually I'm going to reach a point where I just have to succumb and use a little bit of assault rifle ammo, but the point is so that's it for the first combat encounter. You see there was just 2 or 3 guys. There's an explosive barrel in the area, which is an instant kill basically. So it's not difficult. But again, the biggest thing is just stick to using your pistol. Do not use your assault rifle. Now here comes the second little wave. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot the red barrel up top. That's going to kill that guy. You're going to see there's a second guy, which unfortunately he did not get caught in the explosion. So I'm just going to stand my ground, and once again, like I said, stick to the pistol. Use the pistol as long as you can, and you know, even if you want to use the assault, or if you want to use your bow and arrow instead of the assault rifle, do that, because the bow and arrow is not going to be handy during the final boss fight. So you see here, what I'm doing is I'm looking over Lara's left shoulder, and I'm just looking around this corner here. Now, eventually, you're going to see here I'm out of pistol ammo. The bow and arrow is not really going to help me, and so now we need to worry about this tank that Commander Rourke is operating the gun. Now, luckily, you don't actually have to kill the tank. Instead, all you have to do is you basically just have to survive for a couple of seconds. So watch what I do here. I'm going to creep behind this wall. I'm going to pop up and shoot that explosive barrel. I think you do have to shoot that explosive barrel because that will damage the tank, and it will also spawn 1 or 2 more enemies. You'll notice that I kill one of the enemies, and then even though there was still an enemy alive, eventually it cuts to this cinematic where the Yakshiel will actually kill Commander Rourke. So yeah, that part, you know, it seems intimidating because you see this giant tank and you think, how in the world am I going to take that thing down, especially on Deadly Obsession. But no, sure enough, as long as you just kind of stay back and take care of the regular soldiers, the Yakshiel should finish the job for you. Now, before moving on, luckily, we're about to get to a base camp, and this is actually going to be the last base camp in the game before the final boss fight. But before going to the base camp, just, walk around at least for, a couple seconds and make sure you didn't miss anything. You can try to loot the bodies of the enemies that you just killed. You could try to look for supplies. Really, we're just looking for ammo. If you can get lucky enough to loot some assault rifle ammo off those dead guys, cool. If not, that's alright, don't linger on it. But right here, guys, this is where the base camp is. So as soon as you crawl up, it's kind of hard to see, but it's right here in the corner. Make sure you activate it, because like I said, this is the last base camp in the game. This is your last chance to get a checkpoint before the final boss. And I'm going to go ahead and say right now, the final boss is not actually that difficult. I believe that I came up with a pretty decent strategy. It was very different than the approach I took on my initial playthrough. But the boss fight is just not fun. It is not a good boss fight. And, I don't blame the developers too much, because if there are so many games that are fantastic games, but the boss fights just don't deliver, I think, designing a good boss fight, that might be one of the hardest things to do when developing a video game. So when games don't have the best boss fights, I try not to hold it against them. One of the prime examples is The Evil Within. The Evil Within will forever be one of my favorite games, but I think most people agree that whether it's the first game or the second game, the final boss fights just aren't that great. And the games are still fantastic, but the boss fight's just not the best, and I think that's the case here. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, even though I didn't necessarily care for this game, it is a good game. I understand that. I can recognize how good of a game this is. But the final boss fight is just, it's a crappy boss fight. And again, it's not necessarily hard. It's just, it's tedious, it's annoying, and yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's not very satisfying, I guess is how I would kind of wrap up that little mini review. But as I always say, what I think doesn't matter. My job is to beat the game and to develop strategies that help you beat the game. So what I think is irrelevant. My job is to just get you through it. and so that's what I'm going to try to do. And yeah, I think my strategies for the final boss fight are actually pretty effective, and you're gonna see what I mean when we get to it. But essentially on my initial playthrough, I tried to take things very slow, and you're gonna see that in reality it actually is much more beneficial to be fast and aggressive, which seems dangerous on Deadly Obsession, but it is definitely the smarter choice. But here we go.
Let the sun dim. In the darkness erase the world we have known. Let the shadow pass, and the light shine again on the world of our creation.
The power of Kukulkan.
Alright guys, here we go. This is it. This is the end of the game. This is the Dr. Dominguez or Kukulkan boss fight. So what you're going to do is you're going to start off in this tall grass here, and there's going to be 3 enemies around. We're going to kill one of them. You don't have to kill all 3 of them. It's unnecessary. We're just going to kill this guy here because he's the closest to us. So hold your ground, wait for this guy to turn around, and then kill him. Okay, for the time being, you don't have to worry about Dr. Dominguez. He's in the center of the map doing his thing. Once you kill that guy, come over here and put mud on Lara to help her blend in. And then you're going to just collect some ammo. So right here, there's some shotgun ammo and some assault rifle ammo. And then on the other end, there's also some ammo. So that is your first priority. For the time being, don't worry about the enemies. Don't worry about Dr. Dominguez. Just worry about getting ammo. Now right here, this is where the first strategy kicks in. So you're going to have these 3 structures that you need to destroy. And every time you destroy one, enemies are going to spawn. And your first instinct would be, oh, I better kill all of the enemies before moving on to the next structure. But I'm going to show you right now that that's actually not a wise idea. Instead, what you're going to do is as soon as you destroy the structure, just immediately start running for the next structure. So you see here, I'm just going to roll, roll, roll very quickly, always keep moving, and go all the way over to this second structure. Destroy it, and then once again, do the same exact thing. Just get out of here. Don't even pay the enemies attention. If you need to heal, go ahead and heal, but just run straight over to the structure and start spamming that square button. You're going to see it came very close here. I actually almost died, but that's just kind of the risk that you take in doing this strategy, because otherwise you're going to waste a lot of ammo on those enemies. It's not worth it. I promise you that. You want to save as much ammo as you can for Dr. Dominguez. And speaking of which, this is now the Dr. Dominguez fight. So basically, you know, he has 2 weapons. He has his club or his sword, and then he has a bow and arrow. So to start the fight off, I'm going to stick to the shotgun. And I'm just going to try to get him close to me, and I'm going to shoot him with the shotgun. Now, once he gets, you know, far enough away from you, like if you try to run away from him, he'll start shooting arrows at you, and the arrows are very hard to dodge. So I actually recommend trying to stay close to him and just spamming him with the shotgun. Now, once you damage him enough, he's going to be surrounded by this this weird energy sphere, and that's when you run up and stab him. And unfortunately, unlike every other video game where you have to hurt the boss 3 times, in this case you have to hurt him 5 times, okay? And so like I said, for the first 2 or 3 waves, depending on how much shotgun ammo you have, I'm actually going to recommend, as you see me doing right here, just spam him with the shotgun. You know, don't run too far away. You know, that's going to be your first instinct is, oh, I need to put some distance in between me and him. But if you put too much distance in between you and him, that's when he starts shooting arrows, and I think the arrows are a lot harder to dodge than his hand-to-hand combat. So there you go, we've hurt him twice. You could see there are a number, basically what happens is every time you hurt him, more enemies will spawn. Okay, so now I'm kind of running low on shotgun ammo, and now I'm going to try to use my assault rifle to finish the fight. And this is why I recommended at the start of the video, try to upgrade the assault rifle as best you can. Try to upgrade its damage and try to upgrade its rate of fire, because you're going to see that with the assault rifle, I'm able to damage him incredibly quickly. Alright, so now we've hurt him 3 times, and I'm going to stick to the same strategy here. I'm going to try to put distance in between me and him, but not too much distance, you know? You just want to put enough to where he'll start chasing you, but he doesn't start shooting you with arrows. Alright, so here we go. This is the last bet, and unfortunately this is where I ran out of assault rifle ammo and I started to panic. Now, on the one hand, if you can find some assault rifle ammo, great. Pick it up and finish the job. But unfortunately for me, this is where I had to kind of go to my last resort, which was the pistol. And you see here that every time I tried to turn around to shoot him, I got bombarded by a different enemy. So overall here, guys, the general strategy is to just always keep moving. Just run away, just keep spamming that circle or B button, and just try to put as much distance as you can between you and Dr. Dominguez. Okay, so this is where distance is all right. You know, it's okay to just run away from him. But the point is, you just always want to be moving, because as long as you keep moving, the other enemies are going to have a much harder time hurting you. And so you see right there, I took a near fatal blow, which was really weird because I did press the dodge button, but for some reason the game didn't register it. But just keep unloading. At this point, you're going to be so low on ammo, you're just going to have to kind of cross your fingers and use everything you got. Make sure you keep healing. There's no reason to save your resources, and finally, the job will be done.
I'm sorry.
Protect Baititi. Please. Please, Sarah.
I will.
To claim her treasure, the adventurer, Lara Croft, must outwit the king.
Outwit the king? I think the king might have something to say about that.
My loves, will you hold still for a second?
Yes, my white queen. One.
Can I see?
Of course. There's you, and me, and your dad.
Where are we?
Hawaii.
With this key and the silver box, we can remake the world. Without weakness, cruelty.
If you had that power, what would you do?
My brave girl, who is not expecting a jaguar attack.
Where shall we go next for our real adventure? I hear the Antarctic is lovely this time of year.
Dad.
Oh no, then perhaps the salt flats of Utah.
Oh, Richard. I know where we're going.
You do?
Hawaii.
Oh yes, yes, that could be really nice. Well, in that case.
Goodbye, Mum. Goodbye, Dad.
No. You're my research assistant.
Oh yes, you're quite right. I'm sorry, Mom. I almost got myself.
I request that you bring me to the museum.
Well, I think that can be arranged, by your new
When the catastrophes come, the god Kukulkan must be sacrificed to power the sun. Otherwise, the world dies.
Sacrifice a god?
The sacrifice is my duty. But if my training fails me, the Crimson Fire will guide me and hold me to my promise.
I like this world. It's not perfect. But everything I love now is in it.
After today, the eclipse will no longer represent us. We keep the sun, but you remove the shadow.
Protect Paititi. Please. Please, Lara.
I will.
Unuratu. My mother, a warrior, a rebel, a queen. She will be venerated for generations. I miss you. Now, we will heed her spirit to reunite Paititi.
Thank you.
So I'm head back to Kwakiaku tomorrow.
Really? Missing the jungle? Off in search of the elusive fish tree?
Abby and I are headed to the coast for a few days.
I'm glad.
What about you?
I think I'll stay here for a while longer.
And restore a few more artifacts?
Don't know.
So what will you do?
I don't know. Etzli will help me figure it out. He'll let me know what Paititi needs to rebuild.
Wow.
I'm done searching. I want to be around the living.
All right.
Don't you have to pack or something?
Now you are stuck with me till tomorrow.
You're welcome to stay as long as you wish, Lara. Safe travels, Jonah. Once Paititi is restored, perhaps I can join you and learn more about the world beyond Paititi.
Anytime. You just say the word. You too, Uchu?
If he wants to.
So, Jonah, Lara tells me you have a girlfriend. We will come to the wedding.
Wait, whoa.
Etzli, why don't you show me the plans for the new town?
Yes.
I had it all wrong. I thought that taking control of my life meant venturing out to do something extraordinary. I thought I had to fix everything. But the mysteries of the world are to cherish more than to solve. I'm just one of their many protectors. I'm not sure what the future has in store, Jonah, but whatever adventure's on the horizon, I can't wait to meet it. I'll try not to take myself too seriously.
Tea, Miss Croft.
Lovely. for now, it just feels good to be home.
And there you go, guys. That'll do it for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Another walkthrough bites the dust. This was a fun game. It wasn't my favorite game, but I'm glad I picked it up, and I'm glad I made this walkthrough. My channel has seen a pretty good growth in subscribers, so for those of you that are new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for following me along on this series. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoy my other content. Feel free to go to my channel. I usually make hardest difficulty walkthroughs just like this. However, lately I've also started toying around with other projects, which I call Let's Platinums, where basically I do Let's Plays for games, but the goal is to get the Platinum Trophy. Either way, I encourage you to check out my channel. I'm sure you could find something else that you'll enjoy. Anyway, guys, that is the end of this walkthrough. As always, I want to thank you for watching. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Another walkthrough bites the dust, and I'll see you in the next one.